in Sunnahs, everything which is in Salah, we are only interested right now in the 8 things in Maliki, Shafi'i and Hanbali Madhab, which will make you do. Yeah, this is equivalent to wajib of Ahnaf. Yeah. So that's the main thing. And then after we have discussed them, we have listed them down, we will go through each one of them. And the rest we'll just list them. Yeah. Because this is the most important ones. They invalidate your salah if you don't do Sajdah Sahw. Yeah. So that'd be easier if you do 8, and then you note them down. We have already done the wajibat of Ahnaf. And then we will just go through one by one, most of them or all of them. Maybe I'll add 1 or 2. Yeah. But some of them may be related to each other, but most of them are different. Okay. Once we have listed them down, I'll go through in detail one thing at a time, and then we'll bring the hadith and we'll bring comparison why they said that. But these are, and as for the adab of salah, we will list them because their importance is not as much as the wajibat, because that invalidates the salah. Yeah? Good plan, agree? Yeah. Okay, let's go through the 8 things which Maliki said they require Sajdah Sahw, which are known as Sunnah in the Madhab. Yeah. Yeah. So number 1, reading a surah after Fatiha. Malikis, they say Sajdah Sahw is needed from the 8 Sunan out of the 14. Number 1, surah. Yeah. After Fatiha is a surah. Number 2, to read louder. Jahr. Like in Isha, Fajr, if Imam forgets to read louder.
That's Sunnah.
Yeah, that would require Sajdah Sahw if he forgot to read louder.
It's also Sunnah.
Yeah.
Not
For Malik, yeah, it's not far. Yeah. And then same Israr. So the salah which is not to be read loudly, if he did Jahr in them, like Dhuhr and Asr, or the 3rd or 4th rak'ah of Dhuhr, Isha, or 3rd rak'ah of Maghrib. So it's the sir is opposite of Jahr.
Is that a separate point?
Yeah, that's number 3. Jahr is still Sunnah. If left out, he will need Sajdah Sahw, and Israr and Sir in the Sirri Salah. If you do Jahr, then that's a separate Salah. That's a Sunnah missed, isn't it? And then Takbirat, other than Takbir of Ihram, other than the Takbir in which you enter the Salah, all the rest of Takbirs. Okay, if you miss out, then that requires Sajdah Sahw. Also, number 5, Tahmeed, to say Rabbana lakal hamd. Okay. If you don't say it, you require Sajdah Sahw. And to sit for Tashahhud, the first Tashahhud, and to sit for Tashahhud, the second Tashahhud. Okay. You would know by now, the Maliki Madhab, they say just sitting enough so the itmi'nan is, yeah, that is achieved, that's a rukun. Okay. The reading of Tashahhud is also Sunnah. If you miss out, then you have to do Sajdah Sahw. It's not a rukun, it can be made up by Sajdah Sahw.
The second one is, the first one is the Sunnah, but the second one is
Sunnah.
Even the second one that you need to do salām is Sunnah also.
In Maliki Madhab,
Okay, Maliki, okay.
you have to sit and you have to do salam. That's fard. Yeah. But the Tashahhud itself is Sunnah.
Is that the 6th
Are we
point?
talking about the أبعاض or?
Is that the 6th point? You use that like broken up into 3 different ones.
Surah, Jahr, Israr, Takbir, Tahmeed. Reading the first Tashahhud, reading the second Tashahhud and sitting for them. Yeah. Sitting enough just to do itmi'nan and salām, that's fard.
Yes.
The whole duration of Tashahhud is not fard.
Yeah,
That's sunnah.
Yes.
Yeah, because we done a class about the arkan already. So I'm missing out the arkan because we done this already.
Because if you are observing, let's say Isha and you follow the second one,
Yeah.
get up, so you have to just get up and
And Sajdah Sahw, yeah.
But like the last one, you have to go down.
Because it's rukun to sit, yeah.
Yes.
But the rukun is just to sit a little while. The whole Tashahhud duration is sunnah, yeah. Okay, let's go to Shafiee Madhad. The Abʿāḍ, the 8 Abʿāḍ, which are missed, or the 8 sunnahs which are missed, they will require Sajdah Sahw. Okay, ready? Yeah, list them down next to each other so it'll be, or later on, do in your own time. You can see all of them. Then that would be our main lessons for the next few weeks, going through one by one of them. Yeah. The first Tashahhud is the first sunnah, which is known as Abʿāḍ or Shafi'iyya. The reading of first Tashahhud. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, the sitting for it. If someone sat but didn't read, he still needs, the sitting itself is a sunnah and reading itself is a sunnah. Are we following? Yeah? And also salawat on Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a sunnah after the first tashahhud if you have 2 tashahhuds. None of the madhab do that for the first tashahhud. If you are praying 4 rakats, they say after the first tashahhud, salawat on the Prophet ﷺ is also sunnah. If left out, needs Sajdah Sahw. Because I said to you when we were discussing arkan, they say the salawat is linked to tashahhud. Yeah, they both must be done. If you go back to your notes, you will recognize the Shafi'i said in the last tashahhud, reading of salawat on the Prophet was rukun. In the first tashahhud, the reading of salawat is sunnah, Abʿāḍ. Yeah. Now, number 4, in the last tashahhud, after you done tashahhud and salawat on the Prophet, the salawat on the family of Prophet is sunnah, which left out in Sajdah Sahw. So, وَعَلَى آلِ Muhammad. Okay. If you did Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, that would have covered your rukun. But if you didn't do وَعَلَى آلِ Muhammad, you would have left out a sunnah which requires Sajdah Sahw. Don't mix up in your notes. Huh?
So, point number 3, the entire salawat in the first tashahhud.
Salawat on Prophet, yeah.
Yeah.
If you do Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, that's covered you.
Okay.
If you even missed out Ali Muhammad, that your salah would be fine, don't need. But in the last one, if you missed out on the family, you will need Sajdah Sahw. Yeah. Clear? This is Shafi'i view. Number 5, Qunut in the Fajr salah. Qunut in Fajr is a sunnah which is Abʿāḍ. You cannot miss out. Yeah. And also, number 6, Qunut in your Witr in the last half of Ramaḍān. Last half of Ramaḍān, Qunut of Witr cannot be missed out. If it is, you will need Sajdah Sahw. Now if you think about it, the Ahnaf, they say Qunut is wajib. So this is like, in the last part they say wajib, and the others they say, Hanabila say Sunnah. So in the first part it's like Sunnah, yeah, of Ramaḍān. And also number 8, to do the salawat on Prophet and his family after the Qunut. That's also from Abʿāḍ.
Number 7, no?
Yeah, I thought we were 7.
Oh,
Am I-
Qiyam for the Qunut is 7. So Qunut must be done standing. So that's also, if
In both Witr and Fajr.
and also then the final one, salawat on the Prophet and his family. Salawat on Prophet and his family after the Qunut. This is the Shafi'is. 8 things which we said are Abʿāḍ. If left out intentionally, your salah is invalid. If you forget, you can make it up with Sajdah Sahw. Now, because we have covered 2 madhab out of the 3 which we will be discussing, listing today, so the next one you will find some repetition. Okay. Hanabila, they said there are 8 wajibat. You can hear me? My voice is bit. Yeah. Okay.
Wajib, not Sunnah. Wajib, not Sunnah.
Hanabila have wajib.
In salah they have wajibat. There are those things if they missed. There are those sunnahs if they missed they will need Sajdah Sahw. So they categorize them as,
As wajib.
they call it wajib in salah. Huh?
Like compulsory.
Yeah, if you leave it out unintentionally, you will have to do Sajdah Sahw. But if you left it out intentionally, then you cannot repair your salah. Okay. Hanabila, they said there are 8 things as well. The first one is takbir. It's called takbir lil intiqal, not the takbir of ihram which you start the salah with. It's the takbir between 2 movements, and they are very specific that if someone says, for example, he says Allahu Akbar and then he goes to ruku, that's not, if he did that intentionally, his salah is void. It must be between the movement, it's during the movement. He can't go into sajda or ruku completely and say Allahu Akbar, or he can't say Allahu Akbar then go into ruku. It has to be during. So that's called takbir lil intiqal. For everything, it has to be duration during your movement. Yeah. And that's the benefit. Even if you follow a madhab, they don't consider that into wajibat. But because other madhab does, that's the whole point of learning. You know what's the most important things. Yeah. No one says that you shouldn't do that, but they don't make it into as important that your salah will be void. The fact that they do, that tells you it is important. Second thing is the saying of Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Okay, Imam and Munfarid. Those who are standing behind Imam, it is not wajib for them, but for the Imam himself or someone praying alone, to say Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, which is known as tasmi'. So if you didn't do tasmi', then intentionally left it out, then his salah is void. And if it was forgetfulness, then he has to do Sajdah Sahw. Ma'moom, the one who is behind the muqtadi, it is not wajib for him to say it. It doesn't mean you shouldn't or should, but it's not wajib. His salah is fine. Yeah. But Rabbana lakal hamd or Rabbana wa lakal hamd, it is wajib for everyone, the whole congregation, Imam and those behind him, and someone praying alone. That bit is wajib for all.
In the process also. In the process of
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah. Well, Sami'a Allah liman hamida is while you're standing, but when you stand and you fully stood, then you will say Rabbana lakal hamd. Yeah.
Is that the third point, or is that the same as the second?
So takbir, tasmi', tahmeed, that's 3 points. And then the tasbih of ruku'. Tasbih of ruku', Subhana Rabbil Azim, is wajib. 1 time is wajib. 3 times is sunnah. Yeah. So if you didn't say it even once, intentionally, his salah would be irreparable. Yeah. Like tasbih of ruku, which was number 4, number 5, tasbih of sujood. Okay. Tasbih of sujood, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, that much is wajib. Number 6, between 2 sajdas, to say Rabbi ghfirli. Okay, to say once is wajib. Yeah, Ahnaf, they don't think that's wajib. I told you why, and we discussed that. They don't even think the julus itself is wajib. So, some of them. Now, when between 2 sajda, to say Rabbi ghfirli once, Hanabila say this is wajib. And you should say twice, yeah, if you want to, but 1 is all 3. Oh, there are other du'as as well. We did a whole sitting on the du'a between 2 sajdas. Number 7, if you remember, the first tashahhud was a sunnah, we said, for, it's not a rukun for Hanabila or anyone other than Ahnaf, they said was wajib, right? So they say it is wajib. The first tashahhud, the reading of it is wajib. The first tashahhud, the sitting for it is wajib. That's 7 and 8.